What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Cryptid Saturday, and in today's Cryptid Saturday, we are going over the cryptids of South Dakota. Now, I could only find one, but this one has some really cool, long article written about it, so I thought we'd just go ahead and just do kind of like a focus on this one cryptid. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you're from South Dakota, let me know if you already know what this is, and let's get into this article. Like I always like to say, guys, I don't own the rights to these articles. I just use them to push along information. This particular article will be linked in the comments section down below. Please go over there and show them some love. The Mini Washitu. So, musing on the monster. The earliest known reference to the Mini Washitu in North Dakota culture comes from the tales predating even European settlements in North America, but the beast's first appearance in actual media stems from a brief description of a Dakota Plains myth written by author Melvin Randolph Gilmore, former curator of the North Dakota State Historical Society and cultural anthropologist. As a lover of stories and a frequent collaborator with tribal nations, it stands to reason that he would have heard the tale passed down to him in 1921. Gilmore wrote about his experience hearing the story of the creature, which is as follows. It is said that in the long ago, there was a mysterious being within the stream of the Missouri River. It was seldom seen by human beings and was most dreadful to see. It is said that sometimes it was seen within the water in the middle of the stream, causing a redness shining like the redness of fire as it passed up the stream against the current with a terrific roaring sound. And they say that if this dreadful being was seen by anyone in the daytime, anyone who thus saw it soon after became crazy and continued restless and withering as though in pain until he was relieved by death. And it is said that one time, not a very great many years ago, this frightful being was seen by a man, and he told how it appeared. He said that it was of strange form and covered all with fur, hair like a buffalo, but red in color, that it had only one eye in the middle of its forehead, and above that a single horn. Its backbone stood out, notched and jagged like an enormous saw. As soon as the man beheld the awful sight, everything became dark to him. He said he was just able to reach home, but he lost his reason, and soon after that he died. It is said this mysterious Mini Washitu water monster still lives in the Missouri River, and that in springtime it moves upstream against the current. It breaks up the ice of the river. This water monster was held in awe as a dread by the people. Cosmetics of a cryptid. As one of its nicknames would imply, the Mini Washitu spends most of its time submerged in the Missouri River, only emerging on extremely rare occasions. But when it does, it seems like it would certainly be a sight to behold. Standing over 7 feet tall, its large frame is cloaked in red hair, making it look almost like a bipedal buffalo. The most notable of these is the single eye in the middle of its forehead, but it also sports a horn on its head, and its spine grotesquely sticks out of its back. Its hands are humanoid, but its feet are hooves like those of an elk. Surprisingly, despite its supposed grotesque appearance, the creature isn't necessarily a predator. Most stories have it subsisting entirely on fish, plants, and grass. Although it may not truly intend to be threatening, the Mini Washitu is apparently very protective of its territory and will lash out at invaders. It would seem that the cryptid thankfully wouldn't actively seek out and attack humans using its tremendous size and strength, but judging by the abilities it supposedly has, it doesn't need to. The good, the bad, and the really ugly. The Mini Washitu is reportedly so horrific in itself that just looking at it will shatter anyone's mind and darken one's vision, rendering them blind and mad before dying an agonizing death. And according to some stories, looking in its eyes, it's even worse, as it'll freeze you in perpetual fear for the remainder of your short, crazy existence. Even if you don't look at it, you won't escape an encounter, with the Mini Washitu unscathed. The bellow the creature supposedly lets out when surfacing would also deafen those nearby who would happen to hear it. The man who encountered the beast and relayed its existence to the tribes, according to legend, barely made it home and gave the description before passing away. Despite all the intimidation, it does serve a purpose as well. In the springtime, the Mini Washitu uses its massive strength to shatter the ice across the Missouri River, leaving it once again open to fishing and travel. This led to the beast being both feared and surprisingly respected by the Dakota tribes. Do we here at KX believe the story? Not particularly, but it's interesting to think about. There's a lot to unpack with some of the more peculiar aspects of the story. It's highly unlikely that he managed to retell the story while mad, deaf, and blind. much less find his way home in the first place, and you'd think more people would have seen or reported going deaf all of a sudden with this thing showing up ever so often. The idea of the mini Washitu's mere existence is enough to lead to plenty of theories, speculations, and entertaining imagery. Still, there's something very intriguing about the legend. Even the slightest possibility of a creature like this existing certainly brings intrigue and inspiration to many a creative mind. Perhaps the myth itself is more important than its existence, if not for the sheer amount of curiosity the rumor has brought upon the river, than by the works of the writing of that stem from it. I honestly, guys, could not come up with a single thing that lives in South Dakota that would match any form of description. The closest I could actually come up with is kind of just picking and choosing. So they probably got attacked by some form of ungulates. That's kind of obvious, and that's probably where the bits of the horn came from. They're definitely bears in South Dakota, especially back then. So that might be where some of like the roars and the things come from, and the size and standing on two legs. The one eye thing is kind of strange, but maybe that's all people ended up seeing. But if I'm being honest, dude, none of that really matters in the grand scheme of things, at least not to me. This seems like more of a legend of like the shifting in the seasons and the changeover from nature. They say this thing busts up the ice in the river. They say that, then they also say that whoever sees it goes like mad and initially dies. So maybe this was a way for them to like pass down a legend that if you do something that these things will happen to you, and it's basically instant death, and they just use this as a way to kind of tell the warning of the story, and over the years it has just changed into something else. So I don't know, but if there is something out there that truly looks like this, I would really love for somebody to find it and show this to the world, especially but then again, if it has these kinds of powers, they'll probably never be able to tell us about it anyway. What do you guys think? Is the mini Washitu real? And did you guys know about it before I read this article? Are you guys from South Dakota? If you are, please drop comments down below. While you're down there, guys, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you never miss another Cryptid Saturday, as well as follow me on all my social medias, which are going to be coming up next. And I will see you guys next Saturday for Cryptid Saturdays.